Let's get started. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Ensuring Your AI Strategy is Secure and Appropriate for K-12 Education. My name is Paulo Costa. I'm EdTech Specialist and Sales VP at Critical Links, and I will be your host for this session. This webinar will consist of two parts, a 35 minutes presentation followed by a 10 minutes Q&A session. While audience microphones will remain muted, we encourage you to submit your questions in the Q&A chat at any time, and we will address them during the Q&A session at the end. Additionally, attendees will receive an email with a link to download the materials mentioned throughout this presentation. Now, I'm delighted to introduce my co-host, Luis Marin, Education Director at Intel's Edge Computing Group. Luis brings extensive expertise in EdTech and most recently in artificial intelligence at the edge. His insights will add tremendous value to our discussion today. Thank you for joining us. And Luis, let's dive in.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Paulo, and thank you to all the team of Critical Links for the invitation. This is an amazing opportunity in order to talk about one of the most interesting and transformative solution and technology that probably will impact the quality of learning experience for students and also the way of working for teachers. In that sense, thank you so much. Okay, to begin, why AI is interesting for the society in general? As probably you know, AI is really making big changes in the way that we communicate, the way that we entertain, the way that we live, the way that also we work, but also the way that we are learning. And because of that, education is making a big change in the methodology and the investment that are made, especially in the K-12 segment. This is an analysis that is showing how big could be the growth of AI in education. In this moment, it's more than $6 billion, but in 2030 probably will be more than $30 billion at global level. That means a tremendous impact that probably will be in the schools. Why this is happening? From two big key trends. From one side, approximately half of the students, they feel that AI will have a positive impact on students. But from the other side, more than 65% of the teachers, they really want and are planning to try to improve the outcomes in terms of learning trends when they are using AI. Because of that, there is a big support in order to try to have AI leading and supporting all the learning process that you can find in a school. When we are taking a look about where these benefits are coming, it's not only for students, it's also for educators. If we think there is a big crisis in the school system, from one side, the teachers are overwhelmed with many administrative activities. Okay, 44% of those teachers in the US, they report that they are burned out. Because of that, finally, they are trying to retire sooner than later. More than approximately 55% of them, they would like to retire sooner. In that sense, because of that, there is a big pressure in order to try to have a more relaxed, from one side, capabilities from the teachers to teach in the classroom, but also the idea that they need to have more time in order to spend with the students in order to have a meaningful impact with them. For example, there are some analyses that up to 40% of the current activities could be supported by technology. That means 13 hours weekly that the teachers could spend principally working with the students in order to have better coaching and better results finally. From the other side, the students are taking, not so fast, the students are taking a big advantage of the capabilities of generative AI solutions such as ChatGPT and others very well known in the market, okay? Because of that, the impact that probably they are having, and we will review sooner, in terms of students' learning process, etc., is dramatically different when they are using generative AI. Okay, this is probably a very well-known analysis that was made in the 80s by Benjamin Bloom from University of Chicago. He made a very good analysis about what is happening with the learning process when they are using a conventional class, for example, with one teacher for 30 students, and you have a distribution that is a normal distribution that you have most of the students grading in the middle. That means a C, C+, okay? And few students are failing and few students are with A. When we have a mastering learning, that means that not only we have a conventional lecture, we have also the feedback to the students in order to try to receive a more personalized learning process. We are improving the capabilities to probably a B. But when we have tutoring, when we have one-to-one learning process, we have that most of the students are moving to receive an A. That means that the difference between the conventional and the tutorial is 2 sigma, 2 standard deviation. That means that the quality of the learning is improving dramatically when we have a personalized training. This is impossible using the traditional classes where you have one teacher and one student. But if you are using AI, you can dramatically improve that capability because you have the possibility to have one specific process for each student answering specifically the question that they have. If we have time, we can talk about a very interesting study made last year in Harvard in the Department of Physics using generative AI solution for learning. In that sense, and that is also proving that this situation is happening not only in terms of result, but also in terms of the speed of learning. In that sense, students are learning faster, but also better. What's happened, or what are the main challenges that we have with generative AI? Is that there are many myths about what generative AI or LLMs, a large language model, can do. People are thinking that everything has to be in the cloud, but not all the LLMs have to work in the cloud. There are offline LLMs. That means that you have a device on premise, in this case, in the school, that can be work having the same functionality that you can find in ChatGPT, for example, but not connected to internet. Everything is running offline, on premise, in a specific device, and you can have the same functionality that you can achieve when you are connecting to a cloud. What are the main benefits of these offline LLMs? First of all, is you are not have dependency of internet access. That means that you don't need the internet access, or if you have a very low internet access speed, you can work with no problem because everything is managed locally. Because it's locally, of course, you are not uploading any sensitive information from the students. In other words, you have the possibility to control the privacy, but also the security. You can have firewalls, you can have everything on premise in the school building in order to have everything controlled. You are not uploading anything to the cloud. The other one is that you can have a solution that could be adapted not only for education, also can be adapted specifically in terms of content to the content that you have in the classroom that has been approved by the school district or Ministry of Education. The other one that is very important is affordable. There are some solutions that you have to pay more than $30 monthly, and including in mature market, the school district cannot spend that money for each student and each teacher. And finally, customization. We have to recognize that there is no one fit all. And in that sense, there are different culture aspects. For example, it's different to a Western country than an Indian country or a Muslim country. But additionally, between different countries, there are different, for example, in terms of history. The history from one country is different than from the other country. Because of that, we have to respect that customization. I love this chart made by Critical Links that is showing what is important when you are thinking or you are analyzing a good solution of generative AI for schools. And they created this acronym, call it SAFE. The SAFE, the S, means secure. Secure in terms of that your data is managed in a secure way and is not shared with external companies that finally can misuse this information from the student. But also in terms of privacy, because, in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of that there is a possibility that a hacker can go to the system and try to modify. In that sense, you need to have a secure solution. The other one is appropriate. What does it mean? That you need to have a conversation, a content that is according to the age of the student. It's different when you are talking with a university student or a 12th grade student than in a primary student. In that sense, the language has to be different. Culturally also has to be different depending on the place that you are talking about. In that sense, has to be specifically for the subject, for the level of the student, and finally for the cultural the culture that you can find in that country or in that school. The other one is that functionally specific. That means that you need to develop a solution that is made in order to achieve the objective of education. When you have a generic, very smart, but generic solution is not focused on the specific needs that you have in education. Because of that, has to be developed or trained specifically in order to have the functionality that you need for education. And finally, of course, economically feasible. That means affordable. That means not to pay a monthly fee that could be really high for the schools, and finally will not be sustainable during the time. Because of that, this SAFE is a very good approach that has been leading the development of Critical Links, and they have developed amazing solutions, especially the one that we will review today. In this solution, when you are thinking about the way of working in a school system, you can find two big players. One of them is the Ministry of Education, and the other one is the school. In one side, you need to have in count multiple topics, such as, for example, the strategy, the technology, the centralized cloud point in order to administrate all the solutions. Of course, additionally, you need to have a content and curriculum that has been defined by the Ministry of Education or school district and use case definition. From the other side, the school has to execute the solution. In other words, needs to have the infrastructure in terms of a hardware capacity, a CPU that can support AI, local storage, the Wi-Fi access point, the small language model, the chatbot that finally allows to interact between the students, teachers, and the system, and of course the AI guardrails and pedagogical toolset. In other words, all the solution that has to be on-premise in the school. And because of that, you need to have also a synchronization between both parts in terms of how to update, for example, all the different content, curriculum, and also maintenance in the school, and in order to define and be synchronized with the decision from the Ministry of Education. To do that, in the case of critical links, they have developed a very interesting management console system that could be done using internet or using a pen drive that you can connect directly in the system in the school and have the same configuration that you need for the different solution. In other words, this solution could be working with internet and without internet. But anyway, in both cases, you have a sync with the policy and content defined by the Ministry of Education. Why Intel? What's the role that we are playing? Because at the end, Intel is not developing any LLMs. There are multiple open source LLM in the market. There are multiple solutions that finally are using AI. From the Intel perspective, we are giving principally three big pillars. One of them is the technology, the chips, the CPU, where everything is happening. In that sense, we have developed a CPU that can manage AI inference, AI request in order to do it faster and simpler at a very low cost. In that sense, we develop a chip that now we are in the third generation, and very soon we'll launch the fourth generation that includes a CPU, a graphic unit, but also a neural unit. Those three components finally can give the capability to run better and faster the solutions that has been developed for the different companies. Also, we have tools that allow us to optimize the code, optimize the software developed by the different partners. In this case, Critical Links. The name of that tool is called OpenVINO, that independently of the solution of the language that you have been using in order to develop, OpenVINO can optimize for the different components and different CPUs that we have in the market. And finally, we have a program in order to support the ISVs to develop and optimize this solution, especially when we are talking about offline LLMs or offline AI solutions. And this is a suggestion. What are the next steps that we are recommending? First of all, analyze your internal strength and challenges. What's happening with you? What's the money that you have? What's the internet access you have? What are the needs that you have from the school in terms of learning process, in terms of teacher needs, etc. And in that case, you will have a very good view in order to plan a strategy and explore different AI solutions. In this case, the recommendation is to take a look about what Critical Links has been doing, because it's amazing. It's a great solution that can work offline and has been optimized in order to run on Intel. And finally, try to connect with an experienced partner to find the solution. Of course, Intel and Critical Links are one of your best partners in order to try to explore those solutions.
Thanks, Luis. It's truly inspiring to see not only the significance of AI in education, but also the critical considerations for adopting a safe AI approach. One that, of course, ensures AI benefits teachers and the students without adding risks and or causing harm. Now, I'm thrilled to introduce something we have been working on tirelessly, a game-changing solution for schools worldwide. This innovation is designed to unlock AI potential to every school seeking to implement a safe AI solution, regardless of internet availability or prior AI expertise. You have mentioned, and I will just repeat because of the importance of that. AI is a very powerful tool, but it needs to be used carefully. If you use in the wrong way, you could get the wrong results. It's like a car. It's a very important tool, but you do not give a car to a kid of 5 years old. It would probably be very risky to let a kid of 5 years old to drive a car. The same with AI. we need to provide AI in a safe way. And you have mentioned it needs to be secured. We need to make sure that we take privacy into consideration. It needs to be appropriate for each persona. What we present to a teacher is different from what we present to a student, to an administrator. Depends on the age, on the cultural bias. So it needs to be appropriate for the people that is seeing it. And the software need to take all of that into consideration. Otherwise, you could have a high risk of presenting the wrong information to the people that is using it. Again, and you have mentioned, it needs to be functionally specific. The teachers, we do not expect that the teacher become an AI expert. So, and we do not want to present general answers to anything. We want to provide tools that is focused on the needs of the teacher, the needs of the students, the need of the administrators. What I mean, the needs of each persona that we have in education. And in order to do that, we need to create the boundaries and the right prompting in order for the teacher to just go and use in an intuitive way without having the need to be an expert on AI. And of course, you have mentioned, and we are glad to have Intel as a partner on that, because it was Intel that is allowing us to take this to the market in an affordable way. We know that many years, we see AI for many years already, but we saw that in the past it was a privilege for just a few companies, for just a few people. And this work will make it available to any school in any part of the world. The speed, their infrastructure, the speed, their internet availability. And I'm happy to announce that on April 14, we will officially launch the C3 Microcloud AI. And I'm confident it will bring the transformative power of AI to teachers and the students, even in developing countries and the schools with little or no connectivity at all. Today, I will provide you with an exclusive demonstration of its capabilities and some of its features. Just to contextualize for everyone to know, the C3 Microcloud is an integrated platform that goes into a box like this, and that brings a lot of features to school. So anyone connected to a C3 Microcloud will experience a number of features. It will provide a quick way for you to get connected, to manage all the users, statistics, for you to get access to your content, applications, and of course, what is coming, which is artificial intelligence tool set. So all of that is being provided by the C3 Microcloud, and we are very happy to announce that we are bringing AI features to the microcloud that we already have in the market for many years already. So I invited you all to see a live demo of this product right now. You can see I have my computer here that is connected to one of those C3 microclouds. And I will just type the name of the homepage of the C3, and I get access to the C3 homepage. Of course, I have many features in it. I could see all the content that I have in this C3 and navigate through it. Even let's pretend that I does not have internet connection, but all the content is available to me, even all the applications that I have on this C3 microcloud. So from my computer, from a digital board, or for my phone, I could have access to all those learning capabilities. But of course, today we are here to talk about AI. How are we enabling a safe AI to this environment? Let's pretend that I'm a teacher and I want to prepare a lesson plan to my class. I come here and I will use this tool. Again, I do not know much about AI prompting, how to ask those things to the system. So if I click in here, I will get this interface, and it seems that it's asking me a few questions. What is the grade? I'm a teacher of the second grade. I will talk about grammar. Let's say that the topic is phonetic. The student level, what it is? Beginner. What is the resources that I have? Colored pencils, paper. And I will say that the duration is 60 minutes. And I will submit that. And now the C3 microcloud AI engine is processing this request. See that it's easy for the teacher to understand what is being asked. And the solution will work in the background to provide exactly what I have asked to. In this case, a lesson plan on phonetic subject for second grade. See that it's already formatted. See how complete it is. So it says what is the learning objectives, what is the suggestion for warm-up activities, what is the main lesson content, what are the assessment strategies that the teacher can use, what is to wrap up the activity, and what are the suggested materials, considering what I have provided. It still gives some differentiation strategies, some homework activities. So the teacher may already have a lesson plan and can use these to complement, to enrich, to have new ideas, or even I could keep the conversation going and ask well, I will say provide a list of recent words. See that I can keep discussing with the AI to help me to create this lesson plan. And it accelerates a lot the work of the teacher on doing this. I could kept going, but I want to show you some other stuff. This is to provide a lesson plan. I will take another tool that is a quiz generator. In this quiz generator, let's pretend that I'm a biology teacher for grade 5. So I'm biology. I want to talk about photosynthesis. I want to create a questionnaire of 10 questions. I can even select what is the type of question. I will just say true or false. What is the level of difficulty? I could provide additional notes, and then I will ask the tool to generate it. And it's already providing me this questionnaire. And of course, I can review. I could ask for more advanced questions. I have the questionnaire, the answer key with some explanation to support why that. And this can speed up a lot the process of the teacher, not only creating a class, but creating material to use with the students. Probably the teacher already have a lot of questions, but you know that it could be very exhausting for the teacher to create new ones every class or every year. And let's say that he's seeing that the students are struggling. He could easily create new questionnaires for the students to practice a topic that they may have not understood. I will return to tools and I will go to another one that is the topic explainer. And I will go into a very different direction. I already pretend that I'm a grammar teacher for a second grade, a biology teacher for the fifth grade, and now I will pretend that I'm a teacher for eighth grade, and that I will talk about economic. And I want to talk about a topic that is very important nowadays with everything that is happening in the world, that is inflation rate. I would say that I want a basic explanation that the purpose of it could be for the teacher to prepare a lecture presentation or for a material to be provided to the students or a quick reference. I would just say that is for the student handout for them to take home and review as an explanation format. I will put narrative, but I could say that I just want bullet points. I could say that is a Q&A style that ask questions and provide answers, but let's just kept, and I will include discussions questions. And now it's being processed. And now I already have the answer coming up. So it provides what are the key concepts, examples, common misconceptions about it, real world applications. So the system already provides everything that the teacher needs in order to enrich his materials or to have new ideas about materials to work with the students. And I made this going from one topic to another for you to see the potential of it. The knowledge base in it has a lot of knowledge, and I can type questions on any subject for any grade. And the tool will try to provide, considering all the rules that we have taken in place, to provide an answer. And to finalize that, I will go to something that is not particularly an educational topic, but the tool will try to transform it in an educational topic. Let's say that I ask the tool that how to gamble and make money from it. It's someone, could be any student, could be a teacher, and I just put this in the normal chat that we provide in the context of the AI tools. The solution is looking into this, and what it will say that cannot help with this request because it's not an educational one. This is regarding the protections that we were talking about. It's not every question that the tool should answer. The tool should answer only the questions that it was made to. It should not answer questions that is not related with the educational context. And I think that it's very important when we are talking in the educational environment that we does not allow the tool to insert risk for the teachers or for the students. So this is just a quick demo of what we are, what are coming in next April 14. We are working very hard on it in order to provide Save AI to every school. And this is going to be the first launch. We have a roadmap that will bring much more features in the near future. And we really want to unlock the potential of AI to every school worldwide. In order to move ahead, we are almost reaching the end of our session, but we have separated a time to answer some questions. So I do ask my team to provide me what are the questions that were made. So I will be able to answer some questions. Let me see here.
Hello. Hi, Paulo. Yes, we have some questions. I like to reinforce our audience to make the questions in our Q&A chat. But for now, we have Karen from Kenya asking, how can AI improve the students' learning process? I don't know if it's you, Paul, or Luis, to answer this question.
We can have both.
Yeah.
Okay, I can begin if you want, Pedro.
Okay, please.
Yes, what is happening with the typical class? When you have one teacher in front of 30, 40 students in one class, typically there are students that are more engaged than others. There are students that they have more capacity to learn faster than others. And each different student has different weakness and different strength. Because of that, the teacher try to typically go to the middle, okay? Try to go to most of the students. The student that they don't learn or they learn slower, they cannot have a personalized a class. And the same for the students that are excelling, because probably they will be very bored after repeating and repeating the same stuff and they are not advancing. Because of that, when you have a class with multiple students, it's very difficult for a human, for a teacher, try to have one need and answer each question to each student, and at the same time, try to have them absolutely engaged. In one case, one student will be bored because it's too slow, and from the other one, the student will be completely disconnected because they don't understand anything. Because of that, in the case of generative AI, you are advancing to the speed that the student wants. You are answering specifically the question that the student needs. And from the other side, the generative AI can have exact examples to the level of the student that they want. In other words, if you have a student, for example, that is more interested in soccer, probably you can have many examples in math, in geometry about soccer. But there is another one that is more interested in social activities, and you can have multiple examples that are for social activities, exactly also for geometry. In that sense, you have multiple solutions and multiple interests. There is no one student that represents all the students. Because of that, the personalized learning is very important. Let me go specifically to the Harvard study. I can send you later the link because it's amazing. It was made last year in the Department of Physics. It's not something about education. And they gave to a group of students, 170 approximately, one group, they gave a lecture, an active lecture, okay, with one of the teachers of Harvard. In that sense, we are not talking about a bad teacher. Okay, very good teachers, very good students, the best in the world, we can say. And in that case, one of them was a regular 60-minute class, and the other one were using a generative AI solution. And they were chatting, and only they were learning about one specific topic. In average, the students using the generative AI solution, they spent only 49 minutes. The other one spent 60 minutes. The result finally showed the same curve that I showed in the 2 sigma, but the difference between the lecture and the generative AI was 1.3 deviation standard. In other words, was a big and meaningful difference between both students. And the level of engagement in a scale from 1 to 5, which is a really good indication of the level of learning, it moves from 3.5 to 4.2. In other words, the students were much more engaged, they are learning faster, and the results were really, really amazing.
I do agree. I think that the personalization is the main answer for that, because it's very demanding for the teacher when he sees struggling students that is having difficult to understand a concept that he's trying to pass, and he's already has his process, his idea on how to explain this. And sometimes it's very difficult for him to change the examples or how he's explaining the concept. The AI can bring new strategies or could help the teacher or even the students to see the explanation of a topic in a different way using different examples. And I think that this is a benefit that help a lot on those environments where you have a teacher that has hundreds of students. It's very hard for him to know exactly each way each student is learning, or what is the best example for each of them. And the AI makes the teacher more productive on generating different types of examples and explanations to feed different types of students' understanding.
No, great. Totally agree. Thank you very much, both. We have another question. In this case, Geoffrey from Nigeria. Could you please explain in more detail what is important when we are selecting an AI solution for education?
Of course, I can say that the most important thing is to, in everything, in every solution that you have to think about what would you like to improve. Okay, what are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What are your capabilities? In other words, I need to teach is different when you are working, for example, for a private high income solution in the middle of London. Okay, when you have connectivity, when you have the student with multiple capabilities, etc., than when you are talking about in Latin America, my country is Chile, in a very far south school in a rural area with no connectivity, with no capabilities to have something in order to teach to the students. Okay, in that sense, you have to understand what's your current level. The second one, as I said, you have to think about what would you like to improve. Okay, would you like to support teachers? Would you like to support the students? Would you like to have more engaged, etc.? After your preliminary analysis, you have to find solution that finally can fit those needs and try to understand how much money and the time that you would like to do it. Okay, if you have a lot of money and you don't have a budget restriction, of course, there are many amazing solutions in the cloud. And because of that, could be a great solution with high bandwidth, etc., with one device per student, could be a very good solution. In fact, there are very good examples here in the US. There is a school that the private schools in the US that they started using generative AI solution in the cloud, and they move their students, and now they are using with the student, and now they are in the top 2% of the best scores in national exams. In that sense, they have the resources, they have the connectivity, and they can take advantage of generative AI solution very, very, very strong. In the other side, you have to have in count these 4 concepts that we developed with Paulo before. Safe, in other words, security, okay, that you have to develop something thinking on the persona, The other one is about feasibility, functionality, in terms of that is made specifically for education. And finally, of course, economically feasible. In other words, that is affordable for your budget. And because of that, all these different solutions finally can fit the best solution. I'm thinking that specifically for education, critical link solution is one of the most amazing solutions that we have in this moment, not only because of offline, also because of privacy and the possibility to have a solution that could be running on premise with security.
Great.
Thank you, Luis. I could not agree more, and I would just reinforce, of course, when select an AI solution for education, make sure that it's not a general solution. It was purpose-built to be used in education. It has guardrails, protections for your teachers and the students, and is being supported for someone. And you have someone in the background that you can count with in order to keep it updated on how to use and make sure that you develop the right strategies on using those solutions in your educational system. Getting things without knowing the source of the information, you have a high risk of adding wrong knowledge bases, wrong concepts into your education system.
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much. You have other questions, in this case, Dream Gorbath from Etuana. How does the Gen AI microcloud reference architecture support local schools in implementing AI powered education? I don't know if it was clear, the question.
Can you repeat, Pedro?
How does the Gen AI microcloud reference architecture support local schools in implementing AI-powered education?
Okay. I think that if I may take this, the reference architecture that was explained by Luis, it shows a general approach where you define the strategies and policies, and then you have a local instance in each school that is capable of running AI that will allow schools to use the AI. What the importance is that without it, you could put the wrong tools. You could put the tools that is not focused on educational environments. You could put tools that does not have the right knowledge base, does not have the right security. It's not appropriated for teachers or for students, does not bring the tools that reflect their daily challenges in an educational environment. So the importance of it is that you know exactly all the points that you need to take into consideration when you select the right solution. And if the solution does not meet all those criteria, it should not be considered, I do think.
Agree.
In that sense, Paulo, for example, is Critical Links supporting the schools with installation, training, content approved by the Ministry of Education, and also the possibility to have a support, post-installation support? Are you?
Yeah, we do this in conjunction with our partners. As you know, we operate in more than 50 countries. And in order to be able to provide local support, we work with local partners that translate our knowledge and support to the end customers. But yes, we help the partners and the end customers to load their materials and do the right configurations and have the right usage of our tools.
Amazing.
Great. Our time is ending, but I believe you have time for one more question. Ethical issues in teachers' work, validation of contents, guarantee of validity. Ethical assessments, methods, starting point from assessments, assessment objectives, language, and assertiveness of translation. So I believe this question is more related in terms of the ethical issues in AI and Gen AI. So please, could you provide us some insights about it?
In general, from an academic perspective, of course, the ethical topics are very important. Not only in terms of the things that what we talk about that has to be appropriate. Okay, when you are giving a generic solution, probably the one of the problem is that it's not adapted specifically for students. For example, okay, you can ask perhaps in one solution about how to make a bomb. Okay, and this is completely unacceptable in the case of education topics. Because of that, it's very important to try to have something to use a solution that has been adapted specifically for education. But from the other side, there are many cultural differences that is very important to try to take in consideration. Okay, there are some rules in different, there are laws, but also there is a way to communicate in different countries that is completely different to the other ones. Because of that, when you are selecting a solution, you have to test it. You have to make a pilot in order to understand if this solution makes sense for your specific needs. Okay, my suggestion is try to find a different solution that finally can fit that needs. And if it is necessary, of course, try to have the possibility to working with the provider, with the partner, in order to develop a more a trained solution that finally can fit those needs. Okay, this is very important in terms of the usage that you have, because not all the generative AI solutions are fit for education purposes, especially when you are talking about elementary schools.
Yeah, okay. And if I just complement what you have said, it's important as well to understand that AI, you will never be 100% assured of the answer. What I mean by that, AI is incredible. It can do a lot of things, but it can fail. It can hallucinate. So when we are using it, we need to have this in mind. We need to understand its benefit, but we need to take every answer, review it, because we could, even that the risk is low, and even when we put protections and guardrails, this risk is still in there. So it's very important that we understand, besides ethical and all of that, we need to understand that AI is not bulletproof. There are maybe some or a very specific or a questions, depending on how to do it, that he may misunderstand or may hallucinate when provide the answer. It's very hard to tell what is the percentage of the risk. We work to put protections and to avoid that. But when we go to AI with infinite possibilities, it's impossible to test all those possibilities. So we test most of them. We believe that most of the answers are very accurate. And we tend to believe that the benefit of it is higher than the risk of just one or two questions may not bring exactly the right answer. So it's very important that people that are thinking on use AI or is already using it understand that it's impossible to guarantee 100% that the answer we always be assured or be guaranteed that is true. I don't want to talk about percentage, but I think that most of the tools can provide good answers if they are working with very updated and large knowledge bases. But considering that the amount of possibilities to make questions are infinite, I doubt no one is able to come up with every question that can be made and that in every circumstance to test all the answers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We already passed our time. I'd like to say thank you very much for all the participants who asked us all these questions. It wasn't possible to answer to all, but I can assure you that all the questions will be answered by email. Now I pass the microphone to Paul to end our
Thank you.
today's session. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found this webinar insightful and valuable. I would like to extend a special thank you to my co-host, Marin, for providing good source of insights about AI strategy for education. Luis, we truly appreciate your contribution and the time you have dedicated to this session. Again, Pedro mentioned, but if everyone has further questions or would like additional information, please feel free to reach out to us. We look forward to continuing this conversation and exploring more about how AI can transform education. Thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful day and stay connected.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.